Okay, we're here with Fulton County Sheriff Richard Giardino today. The sheriff here is a retired Fulton County Court Judge, and we're going to be talking about pistol permits here, particularly in Fulton County. That's been a very hot topic on our news page lately. Sheriff, good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us. Pistol permits. How does it work? How does a person apply for a pistol permit here in Fulton County? And a little bit of the knowledge you have on that.
I was fortunate to serve as a county court judge. As such, I was one of the licensing officers. Things have changed over the years. We're on a mail-in only basis. So the current process, if you're in Fulton County and you're 21 years or over, you have no criminal record, no felonies or serious misdemeanors. You could have a violation or an old DWAI. You would come to our office and you would receive a packet that's in the lobby. You take the packet. You are required to complete the packet. You're required to bring in 3 photographs, like passport size. Do not attach them. We will attach them when the time comes here. You're required to get 4 references who must know you for a year or more, must be county residents, and must not be related by blood or marriage. So you really shouldn't use your father-in-law, your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law.
Now let's talk about those 4 references. Do they have to be, a lot of questions a lot of people ask, do they have to be people that already have their permit? Do they have to be cops? I mean, who can the references be?
The references could essentially be anyone because it's a reference on your good character, not your ability to carry a handgun.
So the references don't necessarily have to be a permit holder or anything like that?
No, does not have to be a permit holder. It helps if it's a permit holder. Many law enforcement agencies will not allow their officers to be references. Some do. Okay. I can't speak for each agency's own policy. I've been asked numerous times of people I know to be a reference. I can't be a reference because our office is the one that reviews the applications and sends them over to the licensing officers or judges. And it would be somewhat of a conflict if I sign it in the appearance that gives it more weight. And it's just something that we haven't usually done. Now, retired sheriffs, like your father, could sign for people, and he has. What we need to emphasize is they can pick up their form here in the lobby. They have to read the instructions first. Do not waste time or money. And the judge ultimately makes the decision if you get your pistol permit. Now, before I get into the natures of the permits, let me put it this way. The rules, a partial list, that you have to be 21 years or older unless you're honorably discharged from the military and you're under 21, then you can apply. You have to be of good moral character. You cannot be convicted of any felonies or serious misdemeanors like sex offenses, possession of weapons illegally, drug offenses, burglary tools, stalking, contempt of court, endangering, and domestic violence. So any of those would disqualify you, and I would suggest that you don't waste your time. If you do not include something on your application, like if you had a lawyer and you had a youthful offender, you were 16 years old and you stole cigarettes from a store, and your lawyer says, oh, you got community service and it's sealed, don't worry about it. Worry about it. Nothing is sealed for pistol permit and for police applications. So if you want to be a police officer or going to the military, you got to disclose them, even if they told you it was sealed. If you can't remember the year or the or the nature of the crime, then you're required to put down as close as you can. Like, oh, I was drinking with some friends when we were in college and we got a charge of damage in a window, or we stole some beer. Whatever you can remember in general. It doesn't have to be specific because at some point we're going to require you to get a criminal history run, and that will tell us what happened. The first thing is to get the packet. Read the directions first so you know what the requirements are. Then you fill out the arrest affidavit and you fill out the paperwork. You can have that notarized anywhere you want, or you could wait and have it notarized here by making an appointment. We have a box in the lobby that you can drop the applications off in. There's envelopes, I'll put it on the envelope and what it is. A judge can issue, and it's solely in the discretion of the judge. The judge can issue a possess on premises, possess or carry during employment, carry concealed subject to restrictions. We also refer to them as sportsmen, like hunting, fishing, target practice. Carry concealed unrestricted if good cause exists, and that's determined by the judge. So two of you can go in for a permit, and both of you ask for unrestricted, and the judge could issue one of you unrestricted and the other one deny. It's totally up to the judge. There's certain automatic reasons that you won't get it, and there's certain reasons to revoke you, like felony arrest, domestic violence incidents can suspend or revoke you. They may revoke or suspend your license at any time for good cause shown, like a good reason. Now, if you're given a carry concealed restricted to hunting, fishing, target practice and get a DWI at 3 a.m. and a loaded handguns in the car, we usually send a referral to the judge. The judge will review it because there's no reason for you at 3 a.m. to have a loaded handgun in the car because you don't have full carry and you're not to and from hunting or fishing, hiking, or target practice. The practice used to be, well, let me go back to the application. So you drop your paperwork off, they review it, they'll call you. The next thing they'll do is give you the fingerprint form, where to get your fingerprints, to go get fingerprinted so that they have a receipt. You're also required to take one of the pistol permit courses that's pre-approved. The judge will not take other courses than those that are previously certified and acceptable. That's solely up to the judge, and it changes from county to county what they accept. Some counties will not accept out-of-county courses. We do, as long as they're certified NRA approved courses, except for online. That's on the back of the packet. That tells you where to go and how to contact these different vendors who do the courses. Then once we get everything back in, we'll have you come in for a photograph on the ID once you've been investigated by the Sheriff's Department. Obviously, if you fell into one of those categories that prohibit you by law, then we point that out to the judge. And again, if there's an issue with an arrest you had or domestic violence or something as a kid, you better screen it first, because I don't want you spending $125 or $130 unnecessarily on fingerprints and on the application.
Now, if somebody's wondering about that, it's a very good point you brought up, spend all that money and then find out, oh, you're really not eligible. Is there a way somebody can check to see if they're okay to apply? I mean, can they call you, or how does it work?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. It's a good question. The judges will not give you a preview. In other words, the judges don't want to pre-rule on anything. They can't on a court case or on your pistol permit. So we have the basic outline is in the packet. Look at that. If you can't remember what you were convicted of or when, if you remember the court, you can apply to the court for a record of your conviction or a record of what happened with the case. And that'll give you a good insight. And then you just look at these and refer to the sections. And again, even if it was ACLD, adjourned in contemplated dismissal, or dismissed because of community service, they can still look at the underlying charge and make a determination as to whether or not they're going to grant it to you based on the underlying charge, because it's not your conviction, it's your conduct that they look at, right? So then when they call you, they will then send your completed permit with the investigation and everything over to the judges, and the judges will reach out to you and set up an appointment either by phone or in person to review your application, make a determination. At this point, there's only one officer, licensing officer in the county, that's Judge Michael Smirdick. Only contact his office if they reached out to you, because once we send them over, then their office will reach out to you at this point. We're hoping to reopen as soon as COVID abates a little bit, but because of limited staff, we try not to have too much interaction with people in the hallway or in our office. You need to have a handgun on your permit, a serial number on your application. Many people take a parent, because you can still transfer from a parent to a child, a son or daughter, or a child to a parent. You can't transfer any longer from like a friend or a cousin. You used to be able to do that in Fulton County. If there's any questions that come up, we may call you from the investigator's office and say, hey, there's a question about something you said on here. Can you elaborate? So we've gone all through the process. Now, if people have questions, what's the best thing to do? Can they call the sheriff's office? Just call the civil office, and they're on the applications, the number. and they could call them. I won't put it over the air because I want people to come get the packet so they don't just bother them randomly. But pick up the packet. The packet tells you all the information that you should need to know. And then if there's something you need clarification on, you can call the civil office and ask for Barb or Gina or Marianne, or part-time. But usually Barb and Gina will take your call and be able to explain it to you. And we're seeing a big surge in add-ons to, amendments, which is an add-on to your permit, and a surge in things. My fear is that they're going to try to make you get liability insurance in the millions of dollars. There's bills out there in the legislature. They're going to tax ammunition. They're going to try to limit how much you can buy in the future. So I'm not trying to scare anybody, but if you're going to get a pistol permit, now's the time to do it. If you're going to add any guns or want to purchase ammunition, now's the time to do it, because if these bills pass, that's going to add an added amount of cost to you.
Okay, I know we went through it, but how easy is it to grab an application? People just come in here?
Come in the lobby, and there's a box that says pistol permit applications. Take one, please. Obviously, if you're taking one for your significant other and one for you, you can take two, but we're just trying to limit how many get. Just take one. There's no need to take two. Make a complete copy of everything for yourself so that you have it.
Who can apply for a pistol permit? You have to live in Fulton County. What if you have a camp like up in Kroger Lake? I mean, how does that stuff work?
Yeah, you have to be 21 or older, or have a certificate of honorable discharge from the military. You can be under 21. You have to live in Fulton County, or you have to have like a second residence or significant contacts like a business. And under Second Circuit Court order, you don't have to have your 24/7 residence here as long as you have significant contacts. So we have a number of people who live out of state but come up here because they have a summer camp or a year-round house on one of the lakes. And if they come up here at Christmas time and in the summer and periodically, that's enough to have a nexus or a link to our community, and they can apply.
And last bit of questions for you, Sheriff. The types of permits that exist, you have, the permit to possess on premises, you have the permit to carry. There's a few different ways you can apply. And so just to clear up the uncertainty there, what do you check on your pistol permit application? Who should apply for what type of permit, I guess, is the question.
Well, it's basically your own preference. I mean, if you just want a handgun at your house, then possess on premises. Most people mark carry concealed, and what will happen is the judge will then decide if carry concealed is restricted or unrestricted. And we refer to carry concealed, unrestricted as full carry, unlimited. Restricted, we refer to hunting, fishing, hiking, camping, usually target practice is restricted, And then you can possess for employment. I've had people who come in that don't want a full carry except when they're working. And so we give them for possess during employment. But it's an individual thing. You can, the practice, well, every judge has a different policy. When I was a judge, I would err in giving people full carry the first time through unless they had no experience with handguns. It used to be when I started that we would only give restricted for the first year, and then you'd have to apply after a year to show your good character, no problems. Judge Smurk is going to follow a case-by-case basis, so if there's a legitimate reason why you should have a full carry in the beginning, he will make that determination, and if not, he'll give you a restricted, and then you'll have to apply in a year to show that you've had no issues, and he can consider your application at that point. But it's solely in the discretion of the licensing officer as to what they do. Okay.